world of YouTube, and welcome to another episode of Viral's Movie Reviews, the show where I take a look at movies that you guys suggest I go to the movies and see, or I feel like discussing. And this is the first real notch in the belt on the month of Algust. A month-long celebration I decided to do as a surprise to celebrate an artist who was not only my first concert, but very influential to shaping, I would say, more my comedy taste while enhancing parts of my musical tastes. But I guess I have an appreciation for things like accordions a little more thanks to Weird Al Yankovic. However, this month, to celebrate Weird Al getting the biopic treatment this November, he's got Daniel Radcliffe starring him in a biopic. I figured I would talk about Weird Al for a couple of videos throughout this month. And I figured, why not start outside of the micro-redacted? Why not do a dive more on a visual piece of media as opposed to his music? I'll be doing musical stuff here and there, and I'll talk about this more on the Patreon update. But today, I'm going to be talking about his first movie venture. The movie in question is UHF, Weird Al's sole starring movie to date, taking place in the 1980s. And I'm of two minds of this movie. This movie kind of feels like a great physical or visual media embodiment of Al's musical albums. You know, it's a cobbling of a basic idea with a lot of fun non sequiturs spiced throughout it. I think that the idea of the plot helps enhance that feeling tenfold, both in acting as a vehicle for these bits, while also feeling incredibly dated. The movie was written by Al and Jay Levy, and I definitely think Al's comedy shines in a lot of ways. There's some jokes that fall flat, there's some bits that I don't think have aged all that well, but the parts that do shine brightly. I also like a lot of the cast in here. I think Fran Drescher's great. I think that Michael Richards acts as easily the most energetic presence in it. I think Kevin McCarthy acts as a good villain to the movie as well, as the big corporate bigwig who runs one of the main channels. You know, because the plot itself is just kind of an underdog story. You know, Weird Al and David Bowie's characters start to manage a TV station owned by Al's uncle, and it goes through the trappings, once they find a hit, of dealing with the confrontations from the big TV stations who want to just shut him down and rule the airways. But I think that while it's basic and adds to some of the lulls, the parts where Al gets to spice up some bits that would be broadcasts from the show, from the network itself, I think are hilarious. You know, I like Conan the Librarian. I like
Spatula City! Spatula City!
I like the mortuary service.
Mortuary service. Remember, there's always plenty of free parking. And don't forget to visit our new salad bar.
I even think the bits involving the characters are hilarious. And this introduces some iconography in Al's general artistry that still retain to him to this day, like the Twinkie Wiener sandwich.
A Twinkie Wiener sandwich!
Hell, I also like the music video that's spiced in the middle, and it feels kind of poignant given he's the musical comedy guy, so put one of his music videos in here, and one that involves a TV show that would have been shown on the network. Again, a lot of this feels well thought out. There's just some moments and some ideas that I feel like make the movie a little dated.
Badgers? Badgers? We don't need no stinking badgers!
The Gandhi 2 bit. Gandhi 2 is a hilarious idea. There's just some moments that I'm sure Al would have liked to have done differently maybe now. I don't know, this movie has the same kind of bootstrap pulling indie mentality that I feel like Al by and large felt making the music that he made, and this feels like a reflection of that in a movie sense, and there's a lot of good bits. Just some of it doesn't hold up quite as well. And again, sort of acts as a similar footprint in culture that Al's albums do. There's some bits that feel dated, there's some bits that don't quite hold up, but the same can be said of Al's records with some of the parodies he chooses, or styles he decides to copy in his own original songs. I don't know. It's solid. I had nostalgia for it. I was happy that a lot of it held up. Sure, Victoria Jackson's also in the cast, which is a little jarring, especially given who she became, but what works here still works really, really well. And I feel like if you want to see a comedy that is very of its time, in some ways that work, and some that don't, watch UHF. That's the start of Algust. I'll talk a little bit more about it on the Patreon in the update. Hopefully you enjoyed this tiny little review. Hopefully you liked my thoughts on UHF. Do you like this movie? Do you enjoy it? Are you a fan of Weird Al's comedy style? Do you wish that this was better, or this did better, so that he did more movies? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this, give it a like. If you want to see more of my music, gaming, and general nerdery content, be sure to subscribe. Special thanks to my patrons if you guys want to join the ranks to get early access to content, exclusive content, or to help drive the community. It's linked in the description. I'm going to get out of here, though. Thank you again so very much for watching. I've been Viral Rack. You guys have good days, lives, and situations, and I'll see you another day.